Folks, we did it. We put in a new Bitcoin all-time high. In my election video on Bitcoin last night, I spoke about this being a strong possibility. We've been bullish at crypto simulation theory for months. Just check the receipts. And yeah, here we are. So tonight, I'm going to focus on doing a broader crypto market update. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, all that great stuff, and kind of see where we're at and where we're likely to go now that we have reached the all-time high. I think this just makes sense. So once again, you're at Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake. I have a great Telegram group that I'd love for you to join. Join my channel too here, subscribe, like, all that great stuff. Not financial advice. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the star of the show, Bitcoin. And we talked about this last night. We said that, the worst possible drop that I could have seen would have been to the 200-week HMA, which, but I did say bullishness was more likely than bearishness, but I just had to acknowledge that potential case. But we were very bullish in last night's video. We have breached the 100-week HMA, which is a huge accomplishment. This was predicted a long time ago with, the Gauss ribbon. So if we turn on the Gauss ribbon and maybe turn off these moving averages, you can see that we have pretty much, about to close a red ribbon. And this was an observation that we made in last night's video that this tends to be very bullish. And we're about to get a green ribbon in here. I think Bitcoin is just going to keep going higher. Could we pull back and retest the 100-week HMA? Sure, we could. We kind of already did earlier tonight. But I say overall, the bull trend has most likely begun, and there's some evidence for that elsewhere. If we look at the true strength indicator for Bitcoin, I just pulled that down a little bit. You can see that after hitting damn near close to zero line, you started to have a bullish divergence actually back in September, October, and we're about to cross the signal line and probably trend right back up. And that is a good sign for Bitcoin. So clear skies ahead, in my opinion. And if we look at, what's going on with the rest of the market, let's look at Bitcoin Dominance, the other star of the show. Bitcoin Dominance got awfully close to, I think, 61% tonight on that uptrend. And we see that the Gauss ribbon for Bitcoin Dominance is widening, which is indicating there probably isn't much time left before Bitcoin Dominance takes a dump. But for now, I mean, it looks really bullish. So I think Bitcoin Dominance, now that Bitcoin's in an uptrend, is probably in its last stages of life. You can see we are starting to hit the upper parts of the weighted logarithmic Bollinger Band. I imagine we're going to get somewhere between 62 and 63% within the next month. And then I think we're just going to roll right over into altcoin season. So yeah, it's Bitcoin season right now. It's been a Bitcoin year. I can actually check the altcoin season index and we can see where we're at, but I imagine probably somewhere, I haven't looked at it in a while. I'll guess somewhere between maybe 20 and 30. Maybe it's worse than that, but let me go check. The altcoin season index is starting to look pretty good. I mean, you have to admit, what a nice bottoming structure we had back in the summer, and it seems like we're starting to put in higher lows. So I think we're building out a base for altcoin season right now. In fact, look at this. This is like a down here. Just follow my mouse. Don't follow the moving dot. This is like a head, a shoulder, and potentially like another shoulder for an inverse head and shoulders. I think a really massive altcoin season is coming, and I think it will be here most likely starting by near the end of the year, and at the latest probably early next year. You load up your altcoin bag. It's not financial advice, but if you haven't already, I think you're definitely in the window where you probably want to start thinking about that. Let's go back to the chart. Okay. Back to Bitcoin Dominance. We're done looking at altcoin season. Yeah, so I think Dominance is probably going to have a pretty nice pullback within the next month or so. Let's look at ETH Bitcoin, see what's going on there. ETH Bitcoin is just, a red waterfall, right? So I don't know, my drawings all disappeared. That's annoying. But anyways, I had a nice long-term trend line that ETH Bitcoin had broken, and I'm not sure what happened to my drawing, but probably accidentally turned all my drawings off. Let me see if I can get it back. Well, I had to redraw it. So anyway, ETH Bitcoin had a really long-term support line that held for many years. Unsuccessful retest back here in May, and it's just been spilling over into our red zone. We called this red zone out when I first started this channel back at the very beginning of the year. We said ETH Bitcoin was likely to bottom somewhere between 0.03 and 0.04. Bitcoin, and it's like, it's in the zone, right? It's in the red zone. So I think, Ethereum season is coming, and it's probably going to arrive very soon. I think as soon as December it could be here. If we look at maybe something like the RCMO on the 2 week, let's get an idea kind of what that looks like. But you can see just spilling out capitulation right here for ETH Bitcoin. Exactly what we expected to happen has been happening. So let's go ahead and pull up the reverse Chandy momentum oscillator and see what that looks like on the 2 week. This is a time frame I really like to look at. And what I'm noticing is that we had a pretty major bottom here in November of 2023 on the RCMO. And it looks like we're actually kind of establishing, even though ETH Bitcoin, valuation is lower, the RCMO kind of looks like it's been very crabby for the most part in the past few months. So uh, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. I see some kind of trend reversal, potentially a bullish divergence having, started to materialize. Let's look at the trend strength indicator and see kind of what that looks like. Pull that up next. Um, if I can find it, I think it's up here. I think it's this one. True strength indicator. Let's blow that up. Kind of just see, okay, yeah, it's broken below. Yeah, it's probably got a little bit further down to go. This is the lowest it's actually ever been, believe it or not. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a bottom come in very soon. I mean, we're at the lowest levels, that we've ever been at with true strength. Um, well, I did not mean to do that or that. Okay. Anyways, true strength looks like it's pretty close to finding a major. The Gaussian ribbon is quickly becoming one of my favorite indicators. So simple yet so illustrative, especially on higher time frames. Look at how ETH Bitcoin behaved during the last cycle, where it came down off a green Gauss ribbon and then retested the red ribbon only to fail, put in a double bottom, and then penetrated the red ribbon, and that pretty much started a new uptrend. Well, look what happened this time around. We came down, tested the red ribbon. Granted, we tested it a little bit more than we did over here, but you could argue these were tests as well. And then just kind of came down. And, last time ETH Bitcoin landed on the trend line, the support trend line. Now it doesn't really have one. Um, but I think, we're in that bottoming area. This is the bottoming zone. Look how fat the red Gauss ribbon is. When your ribbon gets fat, that tends to be where you start to see a change in trend occur. Honestly, ETH Bitcoin seems a bit overdue for just that. So I think another month or so of ETH Bitcoin trying to find a bottom, and then we can start to turn things over and maybe get a nice Ethereum season in 2025. I would love to see that. This is others dominance, which represents the dominance of the altcoin market minus the top 10. And this is a really nice way to tell kind of how altcoins in general are doing compared to Bitcoin. So this former resistance line has now been serving as support for a really long time. Like ETH Bitcoin, it broke down very recently. However, I think it will probably come back up. I don't think this trend line is ready to be broken in a major way. You turn on the Gaussian channel, you can see that we have a concave up red channel, which, yeah, of course, that could always change shape. This is a 2 week, so it's kind of hard to do that. It looks like it's starting to flatten out and, honestly get ready to go green soon. So I think this is probably going to just end up being a few candles that are down below here, and then we're off to the races. In fact, if you look at it, it's like we've already kind of got a double bottom, right? Like here and here. And you could argue, well, that wasn't a bottom. And you might be right, but we could be forming this whole entire thing here could be like another bottom, right? So I feel like that's very likely happening. I think others dominance is going to go up a lot in 2025. So I just think, we're sweeping the lows at this point. Could it go a little lower? Sure, it could. Am I worried? Absolutely not. Um, so yeah, others dominance looks like it's got some work to do for sure. Um, but I don't think it's dead by any means. I think all coins are just, taking a little bit of a breather while the Bitcoin only rally brings liquidity into the system. That's what we want to see. We want to see liquidity return to the crypto market to really get all coins going. You want to see one of the most bearish looking charts in all of crypto right now? Folks, this is Tether or Stablecoin Dominance. And we want to see bearishness here. We had a little bit of a rising of what looked like a bear flag, actually. Look at that. There's your flagpole. There's your bear flag. Bear flag broke down on the 2-week time frame. Things are about to get hot and heavy in crypto. Okay. We got rejected at the red Gaussian channel. This is probably going to stay red for a little while. I don't know how long the Bitcoin bull market's going to go, but that's something I'll start thinking about as we approach the end of the year. I've made speculative calls on my channel, but quite honestly, like I've always said, yeah, I don't really take whatever I have to say too seriously about 2025. So, the bear flag kind of tricked people into thinking maybe we're gonna have a bear market for crypto. No, we knew at crypto simulation theory that wasn't gonna happen. And it broke down. It finally broke down. You can see the bear market resistance band never flipped to a bull market support band, and now we're about to spill out again. And I think that's going to correspond to Bitcoin going even higher. Which brings me sort of full circle to how high can Bitcoin go, and what is this next rally going to look like? So let's go back to Bitcoin. And no, I don't want to be on Bitstamp. I want the index. Okay, so we're on the index, and yeah, you can see there's our bull market support band for Bitcoin. I wanted to pull up the 2-week reverse Chandy momentum oscillator. This is one I've looked at so many times on this channel, right? And we had such a significant drop. And so what I'm speculating is likely to happen, and I can't say this for certain. I do think this is the bottom for RCMO. I do for now. I think we're about to make this a green signal line. Okay. And I think we're going to go all the way potentially into 2025. And this is where things get dicey for me because I can almost imagine some kind of head and shoulders pattern playing out. And this is why I'm sort of like tentatively bearish on quarter 2 of 2025 and maybe the very end of quarter 1. It's too far out to really think about at the moment, but it's just good to keep in mind because this is a reflection of like ROI returns, right? So like Bitcoin is at like 75,000 ish tonight, right? With the new all-time high. I have a really hard time seeing us pull the kind of returns that we pulled over here, right? Like if you think about it all the way from the bottom to the top, that, that move represented like almost a 5x in market cap, right? So it's like a 5x move. For Bitcoin to pull a 5x from here, which this was August of 2024, so that was like 49K, right? That would require Bitcoin to get near $250,000 to get back up to the top here. And of course, a lot of this depends on the rate of change at which that happens. I have a hard time seeing us get up here again. It could happen. It could surprise us. That's why I keep an open mind. But I'm seeming to guess that we're probably going to top somewhere around here next year. And so I'm keeping a close watch on that just in case that happens. And that could potentially mark the start of a bear market. Um, there's no reason to be bearish right now. I'm just calling this out now just to place the idea in your head. But how seriously do you want to take this? Probably not super seriously at the moment. Let's enjoy the ride. I think the rest of November is going to be really good to us. We're going to get above the signal line, flip it green again potentially. That should be really nice to watch the signal line creep back up. And then we'll just go with the flow and see what happens. Bitcoin on the daily just looks beautiful. If you look at September 5th to now, just a beautiful uptrend. Gaussian channels green, kind of narrowing. Yeah, I don't really take the daily Gaussians very seriously, but I think this could be the start of where the green Gaussian starts to come up this way now, right? And finally get out of this annoying crab trend that we've been in for so long. I feel like we have definitely broken out of it, and it's time to celebrate, man. it's the bull market. It's here. So good times ahead. We'll pivot ourselves to starting to focus on topping indicators when we need to do that. We're not anywhere near that right now. If you want to know what the risk on Bitcoin is at the moment, it's still pretty low. I got to pull it up. Let's see. So let's see here somewhere right here. So the current risk, let me turn off the Gaussian channel because that's ugly. Having that all overlaid. Current risk on Bitcoin, shrink that down. is 47.17. So it's still, relatively low. 50 risk is at 77,519. 60 risk is at 91,554. I think that we're probably going to get near 100,000 by the end of the year, if I had to guess, which isn't really much of a move from here. Like 100,000 is a really nice number, but we're already like at 75K, so it's not much of a percentage move from where we're at. And I think somewhere around there, if I had to guess, is probably where altcoins are going to really start to heat up. Somewhere in that region. It's hard to exactly say. I'm going to need to track this a little more closely, but I think you can feel pretty confident that you know the bull market you've been waiting for is finally here. Okay, does this mean that we're out of the woods completely as far as downside is concerned? Of course not. Downside can occur at any moment. But if you spend all your whole life just or your whole time in crypto just being a perma bear, you're going to miss out on a lot. So you have to take risks in crypto to make money, and that's just a fact, right? If you can't handle taking risks, then what are you doing here? So congratulations again on the new all-time high for Bitcoin. We're totally pumped about it at my channel, and we'd love to have you celebrate along with us. So go ahead, click on that Telegram link. It's down below. Click it. Join us. You know, here at Crypto Simulation Theory, I personally prefer to make my money off the market and not off my subscribers. So the Telegram and everything that I offer is completely free. There's no strings attached. You know, I feel like if I can't make my money on the market, then what am I doing here? Why am I leading a YouTube channel? So um, I can make way more money in the market anyways than I would make off of subscribers and subscriptions. And it just doesn't feel right charging you guys for who are trying to make money too, right? So that's just where we're at right now, and we'd love to have you join our growing channel, our growing community, and yeah. So be sure to like, subscribe to Crypto Simulation Theory. Comment if you have. What are your thoughts? Are you just as bullish as I am, or are you bearish? Let me know down below what you think. And yeah, I'd love to have you over in our group. So see you there. All right. Until then, until next time. Bye.